strolling through suburban Virginia Beach on an overcast March afternoon. What's that all about? Well, I'm here for the NCAA Division I Track and Field Indoor Championship beginning tomorrow, but geography-wise, it also gives me an opportunity to check out the death house in November 1974 of the infamous D.B. Cooper, aka Richard Floyd McCoy. One thing I give myself credit for as we get up here to the road in question, and it's very busy, and no doubt it'll be loud, is 20 years ago I began posting online, specifically on the Unsolved Mystery forums of sitcoms online, that nothing of pertinence would happen in the D.B. Cooper case until the widow, Karen McCoy, died. I wrote that at that point the children would likely come forward and admit that their father had indeed been D.B. Cooper. Well, that's exactly what happened. Karen McCoy died, I believe it was 2020, and now the children have come forward in the last year or two. There have been many high-profile mainstream news articles. There have been very fine YouTube series written by Dan Grider, and I think there are other YouTube videos popping up as well. It was logical. You know, Karen McCoy conceded in the 1991 or 92 trial regarding the book D.B. Cooper, The Real McCoy, that she had helped Richard with the second skyjacking, the one he was convicted for and sent away. I believe it was Lewisburg, Pennsylvania. So obviously she can't come forward and say, oh yeah, he did the first one too. And she's got to be worried the authorities will think, okay, did you help him on that one also? They wouldn't have done anything, but it made sense. An older woman would be concerned about that. That's why I was convinced nothing would happen until she passed away and the children had it on their own. So we're getting closer to the home. I've seen one or two videos in which people have gone to the wrong house, one near a cul-de-sac. Well, that's not the correct address. This one is up here on the right, just beyond these blue and black trash cans. It's 733 North Great Neck Road in Virginia Beach. There are articles online, archives, Richard McCoy archives, describing all the items taken from the home. Very fascinating. He had I'll just take a look across so you can see what it's like around here, this neighborhood. Very busy, divided highway. He had bought a $10 cheap tattoo removal kit from Canada. He was also scheduled to have nose job surgery in January. Gonna pay $600 for that. Well, he never made it to January. This is the home right here. I don't like to linger, but that's where the stakeout, the FBI stakeout, occurred, and where Richard McCoy, aka D.B. Cooper, was shot and killed. Apparently he went to the door at night and opened the door, was told to freeze, did not comply, and was shot and killed. Right there. My car is parked way down yonder. I'll turn and take one more look at the house. That's where it happened right there. That's the final breaths taken by D.B. Cooper. Great Neck Road, suburban Virginia Beach. November of 1974. So far back, my beloved Miami Dolphins were still the reigning world champions. There's not too many dates Yeah, you can say that about. I mean, just months later, their reign ended with a sea of hands game in Oakland. Anyway, that's it. I like to walk these places, but instead of just taking a quick stop and stare at the house and inspire wrath from the current occupants, I just like to show what the neighborhood was. Of course, I'm not sure this was a divided highway in 1974 or that it was anywhere near this busy. I don't know what the population difference has been. Well, that's about it. Hi. There's doggy. No, I'm just filming a little video. He looks great. Oh. Anyway, I knew the Richard McCoy truth could not be suppressed for long. You know, if you go on Wikipedia the last couple decades or any of the forums, the regulars fight like hell to just delete everything. They don't want the simple explanation. They prefer all the crap, all the multi-pronged garbage. That way they can spend all day talking about, oh, what was the wind direction? What was the water current? You know, where were the money? It's just I hate, you know, I could go a lot further with my vocabulary. But they're dependent on that. Some people have wasted their entire life looking into this. They don't want to accept it was just a very simple matter of one guy doing it once, being prepared for everything except the weight and unruliness of the cash. So he lost the cash on descent and had to do it again 5 months later. And in the interim, he saw what idiots the FBI were. So you realize I don't have to drive 400 miles from Provo to Las Vegas to disguise who I am and where I'm coming from. I'll just parachute right into my own backyard. And he would have gotten away with that one also if not for one friend putting things together. So that's about it. You know, when I posted on Sitcoms Online many times, this was circa 2005, 4, 5, 8, I don't know, I had a private message from a member of Richard McCoy's Army unit. And he was incredibly enthusiastic. He said, I've been waiting 40 years for this. He said the entire outfit knew that McCoy was Cooper. They recognized the composite immediately, that he had talked about the vulnerabilities of that plane. He said they all contacted the FBI, but the FBI ignored it. That's the caliber. You know, a buffoon, an idiot was in charge, Ralph Himmelsbach. That's what sent this simple case spiraling into one absurdity after another. He refused to believe the same guy got the better of the system twice. And that's extended. I listened to an LDS Mormon radio broadcast, I don't know, about 20 years ago. It was online, it was archived. And the young guy who was in charge of the investigation at the time, the Cooper investigation, he immediately, very early in the radio broadcast said, well, I guarantee it wasn't McCoy. And I was like, what? So I stopped the tape. I thought of it, and I realized why he had to say that. He would never have gotten the role, the job, the promotion, if he didn't hold that attitude. Himmelsbach was only hiring and promoting people who he had brainwashed or who were willing to just go along with his no McCoy version. And that's carried on through the decades. Dan Grider has done a very good job describing that in his videos, that there's only been 3 or 4 people in charge of the investigation, and they've all had that bias. And now in Grider's most recent video, number 3, he says there are some indications that the new FBI is willing to consider McCoy, but they just want a DNA match. I'll believe it when I see it. You know, people in positions of authority, of power, just another pan of the area. I was surprised how busy, how heavily trafficked this was. They don't like to concede mistakes. You know, people who have been in that bureau have devoted their entire lives to this case. So now if they concede Cooper was McCoy, they have to basically say, well, we wasted our whole career. We were wrong about everything. I hope it happens, but I'll believe it when I see it. regardless, tremendous kudos to the McCoy children for coming forward, and for some of the YouTubers and the other forum posters for finally retreating to the simple truth. Instead of betting against a parachute, that's what drives me nuts beyond anything. I see these posts on Reddit and elsewhere. I think he died during the jump. And then there's 495 upvotes. Yeah, you're betting against a parachute. And if you do that, you're a fool. So those 495 upvotes, I'm sorry, that's self-defined. Okay, I'm glad my camera held out this long. One last look back at North Great Neck Road. Final rest taken by D.B. Cooper, a.k.a. Richard Floyd McCoy, November 1974.